This chapter starts with Sejun looking at the carrot seedlings that have sprouted, and he is lost in thought. He asks if the figure was about 70%, and the husband with him seems to agree that 70% referred to the germination rate of the seeds. Out of the 1,000 carrot seeds Sejun brought from the seed store and planted, only 700 germinated. And he had also planted 12 magical cherry tomato seeds that he harvested himself, and among them, only 732 seedlings had sprouted. Then we see the scene of Sejun's farmland, which is starting to look like a proper farm. And the poison honeybee is also busy with her job of pollination. Sejun is still calculating the germination percentage of other crops and finds that the corn seeds and sweet potato sprouts also had a germination rate between 60 and 70%, which was close enough to that of carrots and cherry tomatoes. Sejun thinks that it will be great if the seeds sprout some more, but then he starts thinking about the reasons the germination was limited. He suspects that it might be because his level as a farmer was low, or maybe the land inside the cave was not fertile enough. But Sejun decides to keep going on like this for now, and he is hopeful that he will find a better way to cultivate crops later. He thinks that now that they had Theo by their side, who would sell the crops, they needed to harvest as many crops as possible. And the husband rabbit also agrees with him. But then something else grabs Sejun's attention, and he turns back to find out what it was. He sees that the black warrior rabbit tossed a torch up in the air while he was waiting by the lake. As soon as the torch reached near the surface of the water, piranhas jumped out of the lake. And that was what the black rabbit was waiting for. He leaps towards the fish and hits them with his hammer. He deals one blow to each of the fish and then lands safely on his 2 feet. And just as the fish fall to the ground, he also catches the torch he had tossed up. Everyone was watching him heroically catch fish. Sejun compliments the black rabbit that he has gotten really skilled at hunting. And then he notices that the rabbit's body is shining. That meant that the black rabbit was leveling up. Sejun congratulates him as he says that this is the first time he has seen this. He had seen the white farming rabbits level up quite often while farming, but seeing a black rabbit level up was rare. He pats the rabbit's head and tells him that he is gradually becoming a true hunter, and the rabbit is also glad. He shows off before his siblings, who clap for him. As the rabbits are playing, Sejun suggests that they should take a break now, and during that break, they should drink coffee. Sejun appears very happy as he holds the tumbler he got from Theo, and as he opens it, it becomes clear that he was not mistaken about drinking coffee. Inside the tumbler are many sachets of coffee, and Sejun is happy to see them. He thinks that Theo and Scaram, the goblin who scammed him, both omitted something really important. They had not even opened the tumbler. If Theo had opened this and tried to sell coffee to him, Sejun would have spent all his money just to buy it. And as Sejun tears a packet open, he thanks them for their ignorance. Because of that, he got some good stuff for free. Sejun pours the coffee powder into his water bottle. He says that even though they do not have any tools to boil water or make ice cubes, having coffee in this place is a luxury in itself. He could not make regular coffee or iced Americano, but he at least had coffee. Then Sejun gets the poison honeybee to spit some honey into the water bottle, and he thanks her. And after a bit of mixing, he finally has coffee. Sejun names this drink Honey Americano, which is a combination of coffee powder dissolved in the cool water of the cave and mixed with thick honey from the poison honeybee. It was the perfect harmony of bitter and sweet tastes, according to him. Sejun claims that a single sip of this drink can relieve fatigue and hunger, and as he takes a hearty sip, Sejun finds that it is really quite delicious. Then he offers the coffee to his rabbit friends, and the black rabbit is the first one to try it. But as soon as he takes a sip, he is overwhelmed by the bitterness of the coffee and is too stunned to even react. Other rabbits are also curious about the taste, and when they try it, all of them find the drink too bitter for their liking. Sejun just laughs as the rabbits spit out the coffee. He says that the rabbit's tongue must be more sensitive to bitter tastes than humans. But then he notices something that he had not expected. He sees the honeybee flying towards a hive inside the cave. Sejun calls her, and the bee excitedly shows him her hive. Sejun asks her if that was really a beehive, and the realization hits him a moment later that the poison honeybee is finally moving here with them. He asks her, and she affirms. Sejun and the rabbits are glad to hear this news. Sejun says that it was saddening whenever she had to go back to her home every night, and now he finally feels that they are a family. And on this joyous occasion, Sejun wants to throw a party. But then suddenly, he gets a message from the tower manager. It is a quest, and the manager has requested that Sejun give him 10 magical cherry tomatoes. There is no reward for completing this quest, but the penalty for refusing is disappointment. Sejun is shocked to see a new type of quest. And then he thinks that because he kept on postponing the quests, the tower manager must have realized something after seeing his deal with Theo. Sejun snickers as he thinks that the tower manager is not threatening to kill him anymore. Rather, it was asking him in a manner that was pitiful. And Sejun feels some sort of pity for the manager. He decides to give some of his tomatoes to fulfill the quest. He offers the tomatoes, and the tower master accepts them. It also thanks Sejun for his kindness, and Sejun is surprised. He smugly says that it was satisfying to see the manager thank him. But then he suddenly realizes something. He acted like a pushover just now. Sejun is dejected upon realizing this, and he does not notice that the husband rabbit was sipping coffee calmly behind him. On another floor of the tower, we see a building. A goblin places a drink on the table, and then we see that he is Scarum, the one who scammed Theo. Scarum is angry that the pushover cat has not returned yet, and his friend asked him if he was talking about Theo, who bought his items the last time. His other friend says that Scarum was quite smart to sell the trashy items by deceiving the cat, and he also wants to learn some tricks like this. He then asks Scarum why he was looking for Theo. Scarum begins to explain his reasons. He says that the cat spent all his money to buy items from him, and he is worried that the cat has not yet returned, even after much time has passed. By now, he should be back to complain that he could not sell the items. His friend asks him if he is really worried, and what would he do if the cat really returned. Scarum says that since he was such a good guy, he would not be able to pretend not to see Theo. He says that he will buy the cat a glass of milk and inform him about a big opportunity, and then he would lend him some money to take advantage of the opportunity. The other goblins are surprised, but then Scarum explains his real plan. He says that the poor cat will have to work very hard to repay the loan he takes from him at a high interest rate, but he will neither be able to pay the debt nor the ever-increasing interest. And then Scarum gives a menacing expression as he says that Theo would become his slave until his death in the end. The other goblins say that Scarum was a genius, and one of them asks him if he should not hurry and find the cat as soon as possible. It was not easy finding such a pushover, but Scarum laughs confidently and says that they still have plenty of time. He advises his friends that they should not chase their prey so recklessly, and the other goblins are impressed yet again by his carefree attitude. But then Scarum says that they should look at today's wandering merchant sales ranking. The other goblin also says that it was about time for it to be updated. And then they open the information windows in front of them, showing the ranks of wandering merchants according to their sales. Scarum sees that he has reached the 999th rank, and he is happy to finally make it into the top 1000. His friends are amazed to see him in the top 1000, as they are not even ranked yet. Scarum laughs inside, thinking that it was worth selling those things to the pushover cat. And then he starts to scroll through the list to see the names of the people he has to beat next. But a shocking discovery is waiting for him there. Scarum exclaims, "How could this happen?" as he sees Theo's name on the list. He was at the 982nd position in the list after selling goods worth 50 tower coins in the past day. The other two goblins start murmuring that it was the cat that Scarum scammed, and Scarum is trembling in anger. He slams his fist into the table and loudly says that Theo couldn't have sold those items for such a high price, and he is now curious about what the cat was doing. Meanwhile, Theo has returned to the cave, and he declares his return. Sejun is shocked to see him and asks where he has been. Theo flinches as Sejun moves towards him, and he apologizes. He says that he will not go out to play on the other floors even if he sells out. He promises to return right away the next time. But it turns out that Sejun knew nothing about this. He is confused and asks Theo what he meant. For how long was he out playing? And Theo tells him that he was playing for 4 days. Sejun said that last time, Theo said that it would take him 10 days for a round trip to the 30th floor. Yet he had time to play for 4 days even after selling out. Theo nervously apologizes, but Sejun is surprised by something else. He had thought that it would take a few days to sell everything. But Theo returned to the cave within 14 days, and adding the 10 days for the trip and 4 days of playing around, Sejun realizes that Theo sold out as soon as he reached the 30th floor. And then Sejun places his hand on Theo's shoulder. He makes a scary and menacing face and asks Theo to tell him the details if he does not want to see his sacrilegious side. And the cat is too terrified to do anything else. He tells everything that happened to Sejun and the rabbits, and Sejun asks if the hunters really bought everything after Theo just talked a little bit. He is in disbelief, but Theo exclaims that it was exactly as he said. He hands over the bag containing 50 tower coins to Sejun, who checks them properly. He then calls the cat merchant employee Theo and says that he worked well. Sejun also gives him his incentive, 2 tower coins. But Theo is shocked and asks Sejun if he wasn't the sales cat Theo, the resourceful. But Sejun coldly tells him that he got demoted. What kind of sales cat returns after playing around for 4 days? But then Sejun adds that if Theo works hard the next time, his position as the sales cat will be reinstated. And Sejun also says that he will raise the incentive to 5%. Theo says that he understands and promises to work hard and become a salesman. Then Sejun asks Theo why he is constantly talking with his cat accent now. And Theo says that he has decided to live this way now. He says that humans seem to like this side of him. Sejun starts laughing and says that everyone will soon know his name. Theo asks him what he means, and Sejun says that the name of the farmer is displayed on the status window of the cherry tomato, and that is why people will soon learn his name as the person who cultivated the magical cherry tomato. But these words are enough to scare Theo and make his hair stand on end. He suddenly realizes that he is in trouble. There was a system in the tower that forcibly hides the origin of goods that beginner wandering merchants sell. It was done to prevent the wealthy traveling merchants from stealing the suppliers of the beginner wandering merchants. And because Theo was still a beginner wandering merchant, Sejun's name was forcibly hidden from the status window of the cherry tomatoes. Theo thinks that Sejun will be very angry if he learns the truth. He might demote Theo from the post of an employee to an intern, and he fears that he might even become a part-timer. Theo is scared, and Sejun asks him what he was thinking. But then Theo acts up to cover his fear and says that nothing was wrong. He asks Sejun to hand him the cherry tomatoes so that he can leave to sell them right away. Sejun says that it was too soon and asks Theo to rest for a few days. He also had to receive his weekly payment. But Theo is in a hurry to go out and sell more tomatoes. He tells Sejun that he should work as everyone else is also busy. Theo rushes to the rabbit carrying harvested tomatoes and starts putting them inside his bundle, much to the rabbit's shock. The reason he was doing this was to remove the restriction on displaying the cultivator's name from the status window of the goods. And there was only one way to do that. Theo needed to achieve 1,000 tower coins and become a mid-level wandering merchant to do that. And seeing the cat so eager to work, Sejun wonders if he has started to believe in him.